Hello, and welcome to the Footy Podcast. To benefit Here's Help. Here's Help is a nonprofit comprehensive rehabilitation and educational agency that's been providing treatment services in South Florida since 1968. For more information on Here's Help or Footy's podcast, you can contact us at 305-685-8201. If you need help or know someone who has a substance abuse or alcohol problem, you can call our admissions office at 305-685-8201, extension 224. If you'd like to make a cash donation to Here's Help and join the fight against drug abuse, call Footy at 305-685-8201, extension 227. Now, here's Footy.
You're listening to the Here's Help podcast. I'm Footy. I'm your host. I guess it's our podcast is a better way to put it, right? Ron Hersey is my co-host and old compadre, and of course, the great Nick slash, he's got two names.
Nick slash Chris.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. And we're broadcasting from the studios over at Here's Help. But this is our podcast. You know, a lot of people come up to me and they don't understand really what a podcast is. They think it's like radio or something, but it's not. Podcast is a different animal. It's something you have to seek out.
Yeah, we've learned a new word. It's terrestrial. We are not terrestrial radio. It's not broadcast. And we've added the video component to our presentation. So
how do people find us, and how do they contact us, and how do they listen to us?
Well, the podcasts are all on YouTube, so all you have to do is search Footy's podcast, and then they'll pop up. You can watch whichever ones you want. There's a description on each one that tells you what we're discussing on that particular episode. And if you just make sure you subscribe, click subscribe, which is right there, or the bell, and you'll be notified every time we update the podcast. I'm clicking on the screen. we got to get you into the digital age.
Like the icon is right in this left corner,
It's
and
right there.
the bell
You
is
don't
literally.
see it?
So you're saying that electronically there's an icon?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an
on the
icon that pops up
screen,
in the corner, and then the bell is right below us, right where the subscribe button is at.
So there you
Oh,
go.
wow. So anyway,
That's it. And then if you want to find out more about Here's Help, just go to here'shelpinc.com, and there's all kinds of different pages that you can check out, and tons of different phone numbers that you can call to get the information that you're looking for.
good. I don't know if you know me a long time, and I don't know if you ever know this, but I am a Christmas freak.
Yeah, we've gone through your Christmas affliction several times.
Yeah, this is the greatest time of the year for me. I'm getting ready to go on a little sojourn.
You finally got a trip put together, huh?
Yeah.
You're flying in under the radar of
Well,
Watchful
normally what I would do is this trip, I would go to New York and get together with all my childhood friends that we still stay in touch and everything, and we would go out to eat at Louis in Port Washington or in Manhattan, a number of places we go, and everything is clubs. This is not theirs, so we can't do that. And we would also go if we were in Port Washington on Long Island. We would go to the Landmark Theater. And, Darlene Love has got a virtual show that I'm a subscriber to, Christmas show. See, to me, Darlene Love is the epitome of Christmas. She just sings the best songs, and she has the whole, she's got the whole feel of the whole thing. And I paid $35 to get the virtual performance, and they give you a code, and I haven't done the code yet, but I will be doing it probably Friday night.
Oh, so it's whenever you feel like watching it. It's
enter
pre-recorded.
Yeah,
it's not like a live thing.
Well, you enter the code, and they stream you
Yeah.
the concert.
Technology.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that, but I just, even from the time, as long as I can remember, okay, Christmas is just...
That's it.
The other thing that I learned about Christmas growing up was that you can get away with murder.
What?
Everybody excuses you at Christmas time. Okay? Everybody excuses. I was...
How can you not love this guy?
I love him.
I was
Christmas, a time of peace and joy. Why do I love it? Because you can get away with anything.
got apprehended on a Christmas Eve.
Memories.
Yeah, and it was, and the guy was, he worked for the store. It was when they opened the Sears, but they were big stores. It wasn't just
they were successful in.
Yeah, it wasn't like tires. So I was busy. I was out doing my Christmas shoplifting, and I used to take a bus to the mall. It was called the Plainview Loop, and the bus driver was French Canadian, Frenchie, and so I was doing my Christmas shoplifting.
What? Wait, huh?
And the guy comes up to me like he was like the guy from Dragnet, you know.
Right.
And they take me downstairs in the bowels of the store and everything.
You want to come with me, son?
They start searching my bags and stuff. And
Get a lot of goodies.
so finally the guy walks me to the door because it was like Christmas Eve.
Right.
And he said, guess what he found in my wallet?
What?
My probation officer's card.
Bruh.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So he said, go home, but Monday I'm calling him.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh, Jesus. This
Happy holidays.
Why do you have your probation officer card in your wallet?
I was forced to carry it. That's why. But anyway, so now I got nothing. He confiscated everything. And I get on the Plainview Loop with Frenchie. It's just me and him on the bus. You know, it's Christmas Eve and nobody's out. And we're going through the little streets out on Long Island and everything. But there was Frenchie had a little Christmas ritual. It was called drinking booze. He's drinking from a bottle while driving driving the bus.
The bus that you're in.
Yeah, and I'm sitting up there with him. It's just me and him. You know what he did? He drove me to the front door of my house. That bus couldn't even fit down the street, but he got it in there. So now, no, this is the worst Christmas ever because now I have no Christmas gifts.
Right.
I got no more money left. I had no stores were even open. I mean, yeah, I'm like the.
And you're going to jail.
Yeah. Yeah, Monday the probation officer.
So,
It was, but the guy never reported me.
Really?
The store security.
Wow.
Well, it didn't surprise me because people are different at Christmas.
You can get away with anything.
Yeah,
As
they
somebody
really
we know
are.
love
They're
it.
different at Christmas. They always want Christmas to come out okay. Like
Right.
if if I got in trouble around Christmas, my mother would keep it from my father for fear of ruining Christmas.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, there's always
Right.
there's a loophole there for everything. And
You don't want to spoil it for everybody.
yeah, I don't know how I think what I did was I took my Christmas money and gave it to everybody.
You regifted.
Yeah, because I was going to keep the money. I was not planning on actually buying anything at the time. But anyway, I'm a Christmas nut. I mean, I really love Christmas. I used to go to midnight mass because it had something to do with Christmas.
Wow, you must really love Christmas to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah. St. Martin of Tours. And
That goes on forever, midnight mass, doesn't it? Isn't that like a
they all
2-hour ordeal?
They all feel
yeah.
like it's forever.
Yeah, true.
But did you? Well, you grew up. You know, where you grew up, they didn't have Catholics, right?
Yeah, we had Catholics. What do you think, they weren't allowed? They stopped you at the border.
They stopped me.
All right, let me see. You got any rosary beads in there?
They stopped when my brother lived in St. Augustine. I went up to his so-called wedding.
I may have overstated the rural aspect of Fort Pierce a little too much with you, because I think you're beginning to think I grew up as Daniel Boone or something.
Well, I went. My brother.
I mean, it was close, but yes, we had Catholics.
My brother was in St. Augustine. He foisted himself on some poor girl that he met in Key West when he got back from Vietnam. He came back from Vietnam. Well, he didn't come back from Vietnam. He came back.
He left.
No, he came back from Vietnam and went to the Presidio in San Francisco, which
is
a prison.
Like a military...
No, it's the military one. It's like 100 and 200 years old.
Nice.
Look it up. They put him in there.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Well, you know what he did, and it wasn't really... It wasn't really his fault. He was living in the Bronx with my grandmother. They had these, I guess you call them kiosks, at this big bus terminal. It was called, and it was. He was going to the kiosks to enlist. He wanted to go. He was dying to go, and they eventually enlisted him, but it took him 3 times to get through basic training. Because when he got there, he had hepatitis. Then he had broke his elbow or something when he was in training. But he finally made it, and he made it there. And they had an R&R. They had a vacation, a relief period. And he during that, he re-enlisted for life, and they got a big cash bonus. And you also get preference of duty. So he got the money and put Vietnam down as preference of duty. No, he didn't want. He thought Vietnam was the greatest place on earth. In his mind, he had a gun. They gave me money. And when he went on the R&R, he went to Manila. And he rented a house and had like 6 geisha girls with him.
No,
came back totally broke, not a penny in his pocket. But he didn't care. He just went back. But they finally they shipped him out after 1 year. He did a tour. He did 1 year tour, and he was wounded and all kinds of stuff. But they finally went like, you're going back to Fort Hood, Texas, okay? So they go to send him back to Fort Hood, Texas. He don't want to go back to Fort Hood, Texas, because he is, in his mind, he's a lifer, and he's a combat veteran, and he belongs in the jungle with a gun. He doesn't want to be standing around with all the...
If he's wounded, he's decorated, too.
Huh?
If he's wounded, he was decorated
Yeah,
also.
he did.
And that goes a long
He might have
way.
stole the medal, but whatever happened, he was wounded. He had disability his whole life from, exposure to Agent Orange and all kinds of. He had you name it, he had it. He now is not AWOL, he's a deserter. So he goes to San Francisco, and he could hitchhike to the moon. I mean, he could go. You give him like a bag of rice, and he can live for a month. Mm-hmm. So anyway, he ends up overdosing or some kind of malady, and he ends up going into the hospital in San Francisco. And this was hippie time back then, which he quickly put that disguise on.
He assimilated into that.
Well, it was girls.
Right.
So, anyway, they cross-reference him, and the MPs come from the the Army, and they take him to the Presidio, which is, I don't know how to explain it to you. You should look it up, but it's an ancient military prison in the United States.
That was still in operation.
Oh yeah, well
Sounds
he was
hideous.
in it. He was in it. They put him
God.
in it, and he was paranoid. He always was a little paranoid, but he thought they were poisoning his food. He thought they were, he thought they were screwing with him. Well, push comes to shove, he gets court-martialed. And they were watching our house. You could see like the military cars. Yeah, well, they were waiting to catch him. But he was too smart for them. I used to have to meet him in Manhattan, so nobody would ever, put two and two together. So anyway, they put him in the Presidio, and eventually he gets court-martialed for desertion. And they have the hearing, but here's the problem. He enlisted voluntarily. He served a full combat tour, got wounded and decorated. Mm-hmm. Okay. He wanted to stay. Okay? And you guys gave him the bum's rush out the door.
Right.
So in the court-martial, the combat soldiers that were on they had like a board that decides. I forget what they call it. Well, the combat soldiers that were on that looked at him as a combat soldier. Mm-hmm. They said, wait, this boot did his duty. What do you people want to lock him up for? And eventually they reinstated all his benefits. They gave him a clean bill of health. He had everything that he would have had anyway. But I understand, because my other brother is, a military guy too, is that they view things differently.
Well.
And, hey, listen, he volunteered.
Right.
He went.
He wanted to stay.
He got shot.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to stay.
And you guys brought him back.
You guys brought him back, and then...
So he took off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he got all his benefits and everything that he got. And guess what's the first thing he did?
No.
Came to Miami.
Look you up, huh?
Exactly.
Hey,
you know how he found me?
How?
I came here to go to FIU. Okay, that's where I thought I was coming to. But when I got here, there was no FIU. It was just an artist rendering.
On a brochure.
Right. So I went to Miami-Dade North, which was really a fun place back then. Yeah. And I'm going to school every day. I lived in Hialeah. Eating Cuban sandwiches and cutting through the back way in. And I'm walking around the campus, my friend and guy I came down with. And by the way, we did that ferry, the car.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Oh, we did? Okay. So anyway, I'm walking around, and they had like the little campus newspapers. Mm-hmm. And I'm walking with my friend, and I go, hold up. Don't turn around. I turn around, and there's like the campus newspaper. Guess who's on the front page of the campus newspaper?
Oh, no.
Okay. Veteran brother searching for long lost. He told them some kind of cock and bull story about how he was trying to find his lost brother.
Separated at birth.
Yeah, his lost brother. And he had, they fed him, he had them all going.
Now I'm starting to notice a little family resemblance here.
So I pick up the paper, and there he is on the front page of but it was a campus newspaper.
Right.
And
how funny is that?
So, no, they scoured. They scoured Miami-Dade North to find me for him.
Oh, wow.
You serious?
Yeah.
They did all the work for him.
Yeah, well, I was living in Hialeah at the time.
Right.
So, he found me, and, he naturally stayed with me for a while, and then he took off for Key West. And then I was going down to Key West every weekend because we would have different activities we'd be involved in, but that's
That's all right.
huh?
Nick/Chris has some recent developments in his life and what he's been doing here at Here's Help.
Oh, pray tell.
We should take a break and come back and talk to him about what he's been up to.
We're going to take a break, and then when we get back, we're going to hear from Nick and what he's been up to here at Here's Help North. I'm Footy. This is Ron Hersey, and that is the great Nick right over. What is your name?
My name's Chris, but I prefer to be called Nick.
So you have an alias.
Yes.
All right.
It's a stage name.
We'll be right back.
Can't find your favorite footy sauce? Stop by your local Publix where shopping is a pleasure and ask the manager where to find the world's greatest wing and hot sauce. All proceeds benefit Here's Help in the fight against drug abuse.
Welcome back to the Footies podcast. This is Ron Hersey, our co-host and my partner in radio crime for many, many years. And, of course, Nick, who is one of our guys. Now how would we categorize you?
You're a graduate, right?
Yeah,
I'm a graduate. Right now, my status that I have on my paper is called floor staff aide. So I aid any floor staff, anybody that's working at Here's Help. So whenever you need a help or an assisting hand,
right, and you're good at it.
Obviously,
Yeah,
I'm good at what I do.
Yeah, but you're still looking for
A job.
A job. Yeah, that's part of it. This if you're listening to us and you have a business in the North Miami area, near FIU, near Miami-Dade North, or in any of that area, Nick is looking for a job. He checked in at Amazon, over at the air base. He's checked into a number of other places. But if you're looking for someone who is polite, well-trained, and ready to go, Nick is your guy. You can't go wrong. So, and you can contact him by going to our podcast, Ron.
And that is, you just go to YouTube and just search Footies Podcast. The podcast will pop up. And again, if you subscribe and click on the bell, you'll be notified when a new podcast is up.
And how do you find Nick specifically?
Nick, I think you would have to find by going to here'shelpinc.com and calling the main phone number, the main office number, and asking about Nick, or probably ask for you would probably be a better go-between.
Yeah.
So and your number's up there, I'm sure, on the website.
We can work that all
The
out.
best footy.
So how long were you here? How long have you been going through the program?
He's still here.
I know you're still here, but you're a graduate.
I'm on 6 going to 7 strong.
Right.
6 months to 7.
And let's talk about the point system. How does that work? You had to acquire a certain amount of points to
120 points to graduate.
120 points. Every day you get a point. Every single day you have to be on point, do your bed, shower, shave, come on time to the house meetings. When it comes to eating, certain rules that you have to oblige by. It's really common sense things that you do here. And the only thing is you just don't mess up during the day. You follow the rules and regulation, and it's pretty simple. It's called life.
And you can lose points too, right?
You can lose points.
So you've reached your...
I have acquired 200 and something points.
So even if you have to come back, you can just walk right out.
As soon as I come back in, I already have... All right, I'm going to just take off for the points that I had.
Oh, you're good.
He's a good one.
So tell us about your time here. Did you...
Well, but let me interject something here. Is we have a program that takes 4 months. You're in the points, what Nick's describing, but not everybody does that
at that pace.
Well, no. How can I explain this? I was 2 years. Okay, and believe me, I needed to be there 2 years. It was my counselor and mentor, Dr. Victoria Sears, rest in peace. How can I say this? She was kind of keeping me in captivity
To keep you out of captivity.
Yeah, because they were waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she one day came to me. She sent me to college. I went to Miami-Dade North. To Nassau Community College when I was up there, and then, of course, came here. But she called me in her office one day, and she was my counselor. I didn't have any of these ex-addicts and all this other stuff. And she said, look, and I loved her. She said, look. And I said, what? She goes, you got to get out of here. And she said, they're waiting for the minute you walk out my door, they're going to get you. So I had to, I completed everything on a Friday. I had sold everything I owned, my car, whatever I had. And I was on my way to Miami. My friend of mine, Billy Reichert, rest in peace. But it was the Friday, I think I told you this, of Woodstock.
Right, yeah, we talked about that last week also.
And this girl that I knew and a bunch of her friends were going. I had no car, I had no desk, nothing. So I went up there, came back Monday morning, got in a ferry car and went to Miami. Because there was no way on God's green earth they were going to let me just walk out the door.
Right.
And Dr. Sears knew it. She said, I tried everything, but, unfortunately I was adept at what they were doing.
I think you probably overstayed your welcome.
Yeah, I did. I had we'll get back to Nick in a second, but I actually had, it took me a couple of years before it was
safe to go back.
Yeah, yeah.
Before those guys retired.
They gave up at some point.
Right. Too funny.
No.
So I was going to ask, we were talking to Nick about your experiences here, and you were saying that sometimes it's 4 months, sometimes it's 6 months, sometimes it's 2 years.
Yeah, but the proscribed is the 4 months, the 120 points. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean 4 months. That means 120 points.
Right, everybody.
You could lose 15 points.
Right.
And stay here longer.
Yeah.
Was that why part of the reason why it took you 2 years, that you kept losing points, or were you basically just kind of hiding out?
Well, no, I was under the authority of Dr. Sears at the hospital, and she was able to keep the wolves at bay.
Got it.
But there came a point where she had to open the door, and I had to go out, and they were waiting in the parking lot. So it was quite an adventure.
It was quite a journey.
So what are your plans? What are you going to do now that you've made it through this program and received the acquired points?
Right now, my best plan right now is to work here and also look for a job when I get out there. So right now I'm searching left and right for jobs. I'm on Indeed looking every single day for a job, always trying to have an opportunity to catch.
Do you have a particular set of skills that you...
I can make doors.
He's very smart, very handy, he's very reliable. If anybody is looking for a good young employee, hardworking, honest, he's got every quality you could possibly imagine.
Every adjective.
And if you're interested in it, just contact us at here'shelpinc.com or Here's Help Inc. and ask for Jenny S. And she can put you in touch with Nick.
You know what's funny is that I remember the first day I went to Jackson because I got Baker acted.
Yeah. And
as soon as I stepped in there, I tried to call my brother, and my brother said he never wanted to talk to me again.
Yeah, that's pretty common.
That's the
outcome.
At that moment, I realized I needed
I, of course,
help.
had a brother who was Mike.
He couldn't get rid of him.
Well, I didn't want to get rid of him.
Apparently, you were a long-lost brother.
His brother hunted him down.
No, you know what it is? We were both in the same ball game. We were around the same age. I was trying to go to Vietnam. They wouldn't. They started with the lottery, and I was like...
Those darn bone spurs.
Yeah, it was terrible. I wanted to go. And do it. So, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. You're good. It's funny because when I first came here, I came here volunteered. Like, I know I needed the help. You knew I needed the help.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as I stepped through those doors, I sat down. Footy sat right next to me. Sam was in front of me, and I'm just sitting here like this, looking at him. I'm like, oh, God, I don't know what to say. I'm bumbling my words. I tried to think of a word to say, and I didn't know what to say. And then here comes Miss Uncle.
Well,
Miss
it's all,
Uncle.
yeah, it's foreign territory till you do it. You know what I mean? It's not a normal thing to do. But when you get, it worked miracles for me, and they're working miracles for you. So
Yeah, it was just a difference from, being out there and have to be a little bit distant on certain things, and you guys are like really nice, and that was the scariest part to me. In this world, no one's nice.
yeah, that's true. You got that right.
So it's like you're close, you're nice. I'm scared. Help.
Yeah.
Miss Anka came and she helped me out. She talked me through everything. I think the next day or 2 days later, I just came on a show.
Yeah, you came.
Became a star.
Well, what you do,
Internet sensation.
you crossed over. That's really what it is, and that's what you have to do. I had to do it in, some different ways, but at some point you got to say, "I'm out.
Done.
Cancel my ticket. I'm going."
This ain't working for me anymore.
Yeah, that's what I did. I traded that for a ticket to Miami. It wasn't really a ticket, but a ride to Miami. And
More like an escape.
yeah, it was like the perfect thing for me. 'Cause-
Well, obviously, I
Yeah.
mean,
Look where you're at now.
yeah, go staying there. I might as well have walked onto the gallows and put the rope around my neck.
No,
you know.
God.
No, there was no. There
no
was
future.
Yeah, there was not. They were going to get me. And I was at least smart enough to figure that out. I got a New York State higher education loan, and with Dr. Sears, and I went to Miami, which was, it was really a good find for me. You know why?
Why?
There were girls everywhere.
That's the best plus.
There's a big lake in the middle of the campus. I don't know if it's still there. And at lunchtime, girls would come bring towels and
Lay there.
in bathing suits trying to get tans.
The lake is still there.
There was no end.
I know the North Campus you're talking about. I've been there a couple times, and the lake's still there. I don't think girls want to lay there now because all of the iguanas that live there.
It's probably full of alligators now.
Yeah, alligators.
We got the iguanas there, and then I remember one day I just went to Miami Day one time, and I just see a big iguana, and I don't know what to do, and then this guy comes up, like, grabs the iguana, and is like, look, he's nice. I'm like, no, I'm not messing with that. You can have fun with that by yourself.
It was a couple. It's funny because just reminded me of a great ender for this podcast. It happened here in Miami, particularly since it's been kind of chilly today. We're all kind of in our winter garb. A couple of years ago, down in one of the parks in Miami, there was a cold spell that came out, and when the iguanas get cold, they freeze and they fall out of the trees. They go into a coma.
They get paralyzed.
So this guy.
So they're not dead when they fall out of the tree?
No, they get
like
paralyzed.
They're in a coma, like paralyzed. They don't die, but as soon as it warms up, they move on. But there's a guy going by this park in Miami, and he sees all these iguanas laying on the ground. So he's like, I can eat for months.
Oh, yeah.
So he gets out of his car and he starts grabbing iguanas, and he gets a big handful and he throws them in the seat next to him, and he gets in the car and he turns it on. He turns on the heater and he starts driving home. Well, the car warms up because of the heat, and all the iguanas come to life. And they're trying to get out of the car by climbing over him.
When iguanas start scrambling around,
You don't want to be around.
yeah, it's a really bizarro experience.
They're not concerned about your
And
well-being.
when they're running,
Yeah.
you can hear them running. Yeah.
And on that note, let's wrap this up for the week.
Yeah, please.
Well, you're watching the Footy Podcast. Thanks for being with us. You can go to Footy's Podcast, search Footy's Podcast on YouTube, and see all of our podcasts, and subscribe and click on the bell, and we'll notify you every time we load a new one. Thanks, Nick. Congrats on graduating the
Thank
program
you.
here, and good luck, and hire Nick. And Footy, enjoy your getaway. I'll be filling in for you the next podcast because you'll be in parts unknown.
Yeah, I won't be here.
I think I'll be here for sure. So
Well, maybe we'll be the two of us. Maybe.
Well, actually, I'm.
No, it's okay. We'll be fine.
don't worry.
Oh,
Don't
I'm
worry.
sure you will.
Go have fun.
All right, see you later.
See you next time.
See you later.
Thank you for listening to the Footy Podcast. To benefit, here's help. For more information about the Footy Podcast or Here's Help, contact us at 305-685-8201. If you need help or know someone who has a substance abuse or alcohol problem, you can call our admissions office at 305-685-8201, extension 224. If you'd like to make a cash donation to Here's Help and join the fight against drug abuse, call Footy at 305-685-8201, extension 227. The executive producer of the Footy Podcast is Sam Zacco, COO of Here's Help.